the complete guide to selling on video, which you can get at chrisbogue.io. And today's episode is how to sell without being salesy. And with me today is my co-host, Celena Magnussen. Celena, hello.
Hi, I am Celena, as Chris just said, and I am the head of customer success at Sendspark.
Excellent. So if anyone in the audience is new to this show, it's a show all about how to sell on video. It is brought to you by Sendspark. So Sendspark is the premier video selling program. It is how B2B companies do video prospecting at sales. And so this is all about helping real sellers get better on video. So we do this show every 2 weeks. Go ahead if you are interested in checking out our next episode. We're going to be doing one all about the do's and don'ts of selling on LinkedIn. You can go ahead and scan that QR code on the screen. This is all about sales and selling. And if you are out there, if you are a Sendspark user, or if you're not a Sendspark user, if you use a different program, maybe you're new to video prospecting, maybe you're just using your phone or your webcam or YouTube, that's fine. This show is all about keeping you up to date with the top strategies that are going to help you do video efficiently and effectively in a way that's going to bring you new sales. So we are going to jump into the meat of today's episode. But first, we want to hear from you. So if you are watching this live on LinkedIn, or if you are watching this live on YouTube, go ahead and jump into the comments. Don't be shy. Go ahead, mention where you are from. It's Friday the 13th, so if you're watching any horror movies today, if you want to jump in and let us know what's going on there, please do. And go ahead and you can also, there's next week's show still. Go ahead and leave comments too. If you have any questions, we're going to be talking all about the biggest red flags in sales, the biggest, most painful mistakes that people make when they are sending videos on LinkedIn and Gmail. So if you have any questions, go ahead, drop them into the comments throughout the episode. And Celena and I will try to answer all of them that we can before the end of today's episode. So go ahead, say hi. We're going to be taking those throughout the episode. We got Sandy here. We got Michael. Michael enjoyed, I did release a horror movie today. Random. If you go to my profile, Chris Bogue, you can see an original horror movie. It is actually scary. So thanks, everybody. And let's go ahead and Celena, do you want to start with our video breakdown today?
Of course, let's do it.
Let's go ahead and run the video breakdown clip. Here we go. Okay, so this is the segment of the show that we do every week where we break down a real sales video from a real sales professional and give some feedback. So today's video comes from Alex Christian. And Celena, are you ready for it?
You know I am. I'm always ready for it.
Okay, here we go.
Hey, Anthony, I'm Alex. I saw you're a director over at Garcia Parra Baseball Group. Had a few questions for you around inventory management and how you staff. And I figured you might know more than me. Nomar Garcia, never mind. Nomar. It's a horrible pun. But if you get this, love to have a conversation.
Okay. So that was Alex. Alex, thank you very much for submitting your video. We are going to get deep on that now, but thanks for submitting. You just won a $50 Amazon gift card. Celena, let's talk about Alex's video. What were your thoughts? Good, bad? What are your initial reactions on watching that?
My initial reaction was that I giggled because I loved his humor. I know nothing about baseball, so I did have to look up Nomar to really understand the pun. But the video did stand out to me. But as far as feedback, although the video did help him kind of stand out a bit, it doesn't necessarily give his recipient like a real reason to move forward with a conversation. And it felt a little bit vague just because there was a part where he asked about inventory management and staffing, and then he went right into the pun without really giving a reason why he was inquiring about those topics. So in my opinion, adding the value of why a conversation would be beneficial with on what Alex has to offer combined with that human or humor superpower that he has, I would see that as gold.
Yeah, so that was a video with jokes, and this is great because I'm actually a sketch comedian. I write a lot of jokes, so I can speak to that. And yeah, I would say you can't rely on the joke to do the heavy lifting. You know, for me, the joking is always like a little extra sprinkling on top, right? So if the place is called Garcia Parra Baseball, like they know who Nomar Garcia Parra is. Like they like that is there's like you can 100% throw in a reference like that, but it was the subject line. The subject line was a pun, which it was you know ma more than me, or no, you know ma than me. Um, and then yeah, he had the whole like get it, do you get that it's a pun kind of a thing there. Is one of those things where it's like I actually find that on video the most effective way to do a joke is to pretend like you didn't even do it. Like oh, and this is Alex, this is great. So Alex is be harsh here.
He's here.
Great, he's ready for the feedback. Awesome. Yeah, I would say Noma did maybe a little bit too much of the heavy lifting here. The thing is, like, because they're called Garcia Parra baseball, like, think about 2 weeks in the future. Now, if you run a business like I do, you sometimes forget to respond to messages, even the messages that you wanted to respond to. That's a very common thing, right? So if I'm going through and I'm scrolling through my old email messages trying to figure out which ones I want to actually respond to, seeing that the subject line says Noma doesn't actually really tell me a whole lot because like that's what my business is named after, you know? So the thing that actually stood out in the video that would actually create his memory, that's not actually what he's seeing in the inbox, right? I actually think if he had a subject line about inventory management, and then he watched it and he was like, oh, hey, I'm reaching out to you because I want to say Noma. And I actually had one question about your inventory management. And then it was like a totally straightforward question. That's a powerful way to do it because he might remember the Noma joke. If you want to cold call him afterwards, be like, oh, yeah, I'm the guy that said Noma. Do you have a second to talk about your inventory management? You've got to actually plant that seed of like, what is he going to get out of talking to you that's going to improve his inventory management? You know, for me, that's oftentimes alluding to a potential problem that I solve that I know a lot of people are running into. Sometimes I pose an open-ended question and say, hey, you can go ahead and respond to this with like a DM or a voice note if you have some thoughts on this. But I was curious as the way you do this with your inventory management. Like you got to give them something real that's a pain point about what they do to respond to, and then the joke is just sprinkled in to make it so delightful that like they kind of gotta respond to you, you know. Ooh, what do we got here? So he's actually responding in real time. Yeah, new to video selling. Love hearing how you can be better at it. Love Selena's thought on clearing up the CTA. Appreciate planting the seed. Yeah, I'm glad you're taking all that to heart. He's throwing some Boston in here now. So I have a wicked solution to your inventory management. Are we allowed to say that? No, that's fine. But yeah, so like the idea here is like I don't have to. Oh, that wasn't Alex saying that. That was Michael. But the point being here, like Alex, I'm sure you're a super funny guy, which means you're probably funny no matter what you're talking about. You know, no matter what you choose as your subject, there's a way to come at it in a way that's real and personal. So I would challenge you next time, really focus on the why of the sales call. And I bet you're just going to like stumble upon some sort of fun kind of way to talk about it on the spot. You just got to remember that the substance has got to stick with them even after the joke fades. Because take it from someone who's been doing comedy for a long time. that laughter can fade very quickly, and all of a sudden you got to give them something else, Any other thoughts here, Celena, on feedback we could give Alex?
I don't have any feedback. I think he has a lot of good stuff to work on, but I love the fact that we're talking about Boston because you know that I'm from Massachusetts. So I'm just saying I'm going to represent right here. So thanks, guys.
Yeah. I'm like, make it as personal as you want. But, we are at work here. So thanks again, Alex, for participating in this week's video breakdown. If any of you at home would like to participate in a future video breakdown, go ahead and send us a video to videosellinglive@sendspark.com, or you can DM it to me or to Sendspark or to Celena. But yeah, this is how we have to do it. We always give feedback on our videos. It's the way we improve. So thank you very much for Alex for participating this week. And that being said, Celena, do you want to do lesson time?
Yes, please. Let's do lesson time.
Let's go ahead and do lesson time. All right. So once again, it is time for lesson time. And this week, we have a very important lesson that ties into what we were just talking about in the video breakdown. Celena, how can I sell without being salesy?
Is this a rhetorical question? Or are you really asking me this?
Well, this is what we're trying to teach the audience today. So we don't pull these topics out of nowhere. We do episodes about the problems that real sales professionals ask us. And this is something that people in sales ask me all the time. Some variations on this are like, how do I not look like a super obvious salesperson? How do I not sound like every single other salesperson who's doing video? A more blunt way to ask it is like, how do I make a sales video that isn't totally cringe? It's a thing people are worried about. There's a lot of anxiety, a lot of just like feeling insecure about your performance on video. And this is the part of today's episode where maybe we can start with you, Celena, and just kind of go through some of maybe the lessons you've learned over your time getting on video for Sendspark, and how do you help companies go up sounding more like a regular person than just salesperson you've heard a million times before.
So I think it starts with, for me, it's my mindset, because I'm more consultative in my approach, and because I'm customer success centric and I'm going to be customer centric a bit, I tend to be like the middle woman for both customers and the company. So that brings my focus on what my prospects are likely experiencing for challenges and how Sendspark can support that. So with that type of mindset, I'm not going in like super pushy, or as you said, that stereotypical salesperson on camera that's only focus is just a sale. At the end of the day, I do know I'm going in here to sell something, but I'm going in ready to essentially become a consultant and offer help at the same time of, focusing on selling. So the fact that I genuinely want to help, it also kind of brings me to that natural state of myself, and it allows me to be a little bit more comfortable and adding more flair into, being me and bringing my personality, which I think brings that little above average than just the typical salesperson. And plus, I also do stuff like this. I do videos with outfits like this, so I feel like I stand out a little bit different.
Yeah, that is that is a wonderful hat. Where did you get it from?
I don't know, maybe Amazon.
All right. Well, I'm sad that I didn't bring mine.
Next time.
Yeah, and for me, it's so I'm gonna put a disclaimer out there.
Do it,
audience. I actually do think you need to be a little salesy, meaning I think salespeople run into problems when they try to pretend like they're not salespeople. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of ways you can own the salesiness without having to be obnoxious. I actually find that that's actually what annoys prospects a lot of the time is people come in there being like, hey, I want to be your buddy. Hey, I want to be your friend. I just want to like spread value. And they're like, okay, but your job is based on a quota of whether or not I buy, right? So it's like, it can almost feel deceptive to prospects when a salesperson like isn't willing to tell you who they are, isn't willing to tell you what they sell. I feel like you have to get very comfortable talking about that. And that's part of the reason why I am a video coach, is like, you should be able to explain who you are and what you do in like 15 seconds and then direct the conversation back to what they care about. And I've got like a couple different examples of ways you can kind of introduce yourself in a salesy way without being like a red flag, obnoxious salesperson. But do you have any tips that you follow, or like any problems that you see people run into persistently that you like to kind of nip in the bud?
In like, what kind of, do you have anything specific that you're talking about? Because there's so many problems that people go through. Are you talking about Sendspark essentially, or?
Yeah, I mean, you just work with people who like have to get on video all the time. So like, think about somebody who maybe is new to video, they're just starting out. What kind of problems do people run into early on? And like, what kind of advice do you give them to look and sound a little bit more natural?
So one thing is, when they're new, they're not comfortable getting on camera, and they're hesitant. They're super hesitant to just start a video, period. And then when they do start a video, they find themselves recording the same video over and over and over because they're being super critical. And that's happened to me. I've actually recorded a video for like a half an hour to an hour straight, just because I was like, no, that's horrible. It's really bad. But one of the things that I like to give advice, and I don't know if you have, more points to add to it, but I tell them to just go in and start busting out a whole bunch of different videos. You don't necessarily have to send those specific videos to people, but take like 5 to 10 minutes and just send out videos, just so that you can get a comfort zone. And of course, have your scripts and things like that ready, or bullet points. And then that should hopefully help you kind of go over that challenge and that barrier of like saying on the same video over and over and over.
Yeah, it's interesting. So for me, and we've talked about this in other episodes, for me, scripting is everything. Even when I'm not doing video, even when I'm doing like voice notes, I'll do voice notes sometimes, or if I'm cold calling, or if I'm warm calling, if I'm following up to people who've already gotten a cold message, I like to be 100% confident in what I'm going to say. If somebody's like, who is this and why are you calling me? I want to have 1 or 2 statements that I can just roll off the tongue that are supernatural. And I actually find like pulling up a Word document and sometimes just coming up with 2 or 3 bullet points.
Yeah.
That is so much. And like, we'll go back to Alex's example earlier that he sent here. If you have like 1 or 2 solid points about the problem you solve, or maybe an open-ended question you want them to think about, as long as you drop that into every video, you can be as flexible as you want with the rest of the video. Again, the joke that he threw in there being like, hey, I wanted to talk to you about this problem. Here's the type of inventory, we're focused on. Here's what our clients are like. Honestly, I just wanted an excuse to say, no, ma. And here's what you can do if you want to chat. Here's a link here. I'll also say sometimes tempering what you ask for goes a long way. So, a problem I think that sellers run into is we reach out to strangers. It's 100% cold. They don't know who we are. They don't know what problem we're fixing. And we want them to watch a video and instantly just give us 30 minutes of their time by scheduling a meeting with us. And this is an understandable thing for sales professionals to ask for, because oftentimes that's how you're compensated for your work, right? Your boss is evaluating how many calendar meetings you get on the board. But as a guy who's been doing this for years, and as somebody who can actually think long-term about my sales process because I run my own business, I have found that if I send a simple question to a few dozen people, that can be a 10 to 15 second video. You know, hey, Celena, I wanted to reach out because you're in my network, you're head of customer success. I wanted to ask this simple question. Does Sendspark do this or do they do something else? Let me know. Feel free to send me a voice note back or a DM if you'd be willing to answer. You know, if I send a video like that, that's 10 to 15 seconds long, it's a very light call to action, right? Celena can just answer one way or the other. And maybe I'm not even going to ask that person for a meeting on the calendar, right? Because if I'm a salesperson who really knows my process, I don't want a meeting with every single person out there in the world. I only want a meeting with somebody who I can actually sell to. And yeah, I find sometimes shortening my message, asking them a specific question that they can give me an A or B answer to, that is often very effective. And if I start 10 conversations that way and 2 or 3 of them actually turn into a calendar meeting, that's pretty successful. You know, that's a really efficient process, but it's because I dialed it back and I asked for something small. I asked for a simple this or that answer, and I gave them a low pressure way to respond to me. I said, hey, you could even respond to me via DM or voice note if you want. I'm taking this extra step of disqualifying the people I shouldn't be talking to. But those people who are actually intrigued by the question and those people who send me a really long voice note talking about things they're going through, that person might make sense for me to send a follow-up to, being like, you know what, would it be easier if we just talked about this on Zoom? You know, let me know if you'd like a link to my calendar. You can choose a time that's good for you. Hope to talk to you soon. But yeah, sometimes we are just asking for too much right away, and challenging yourself to ask for something smaller and then going for the calendar ask, especially on LinkedIn. It turns into a conversation rather than, you know, this big imposition you're putting on the other person.
Yeah. And it's like you said, you're basically planting the seed. So it works. I think your method looks really good. Works really nice.
Yeah. And last thing I'll say, and this is for Alex, this is for Celena, this is for me. This is for, I don't care if you are the best video seller on earth. For crying out loud, Ryan Reynolds is out there trying to sell me Mint Mobile with his little LinkedIn videos every day, right? And that man does not have a 100% success rate. He's very charming. I have not switched to Mint Mobile yet. So like, expect that no matter how good you are, no matter how tight your message is, no matter how funny and charming you are, the odds are the person is not going to respond to your first video, and that is fine. Never consider it a failure. Always have a follow-up plan. Maybe that's a question. Maybe that's a one-sentence email. Maybe that's a voice note. Maybe that's a short video follow-up. Experiment for what it is for you. But again, I always assume, okay, what am I going to do when this message doesn't answer? You know, how can I set this up so I can make a phone call afterwards? I can leave a voice note. I can add some context with a sentence. And I'm always trying to think 3 steps ahead. And again, back to Alex's video that we watched today, that video is solid and targeted towards them. 6 weeks from now, maybe that person you reached out to is finally ready to take a look at your solution. And he goes, what does this person tell? Oh yeah, inventory. That's a whole mess. We were planning on working on that anyway. Oh yeah, he said the Noma joke. That guy's funny. Sure, let's talk to him, you know. But I gotta make sure that reason why it's good for them is solid. That question I have is relevant, and that comes thinking clearly about that from the beginning. And again, oftentimes that's a matter of just scripting it out so you don't have to think every time. Isaac says 7 points of contact to make a sale. I heard 17, you know, 17 minimum. I mean, think about how many times your TV tries to sell you Coca-Cola, right? You see ads for that all the time. You see advertisements for that all the time. They wouldn't pay for that for no reason, right? We've got to be hit with a message several times, even if it's something we want. That's just how human psychology works in a distracted world. So anything else that you have here, Celena? Any other advice you can give to anybody who maybe feels a little salesy on video and wants to seem less salesy?
Just be natural. I feel like when you're natural and you're just not trying so hard, it comes off a little bit easier and better. Like I said, I'm not very much salesy just because my title is not even a salesperson. I'm customer success, but I know part of my job is to help sales. So my method is definitely just become natural, be yourself, and follow Chris's advice because he's amazing.
Awesome. Thanks. Well, that's actually a great segue then to this week's sales challenge.
Woo.
Woo. All right. So this is our challenge to the audience. Every week we give you one simple thing that we're going to ask you to do that's going to make you better at sales. Celena, are you ready for it? Because I know you don't like this one.
I'm ready.
Okay. If you're watching this at home, you have to watch yourself this week. You have to go look at a video and sit down and try to put yourself in the position of a person who is not you. This is the hardest part. This is literally why people hire me as a coach, is because they don't like watching themselves. Celena, do you like watching yourself on video?
I absolutely can't stand it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. That's normal. I don't know if there's anybody at home who actually likes watching themselves on video. It can be painful. And I'm telling you as a coach, I'm telling you as somebody who is much better at this today than I was 3 years ago. Cringing when you watch yourself is a sign of growth. It's a sign that you can improve. And I would challenge everybody at home today, anybody who has ever made a video, I am going to do this myself. Go watch one of your prospecting videos and try to be honest with yourself and ask, what am I doing that's overly salesy? And maybe that's you're coming on too strong. Maybe you don't sound conversational. Maybe you look nervous. Whatever it is, like, you're going to have to watch it. And, again, nobody ever gets it correct their first time. And maybe you can share something on this, Celena. I just had an unsuccessful round of videos. I sent out, usually I do at least like 1 for 5, like 20% response is like my bottom threshold to know that I'm doing it well. And last week I did a round where I sent out 10 videos and didn't get a response from any of them, and I watched it and I'm like, oh man, I don't actually sound conversational in these. I sound performative. I don't really sound like I'm talking directly to them. Mm-hmm. And it didn't feel good, but I had to watch myself. So that's kind of my perspective on that. Are you excited about watching yourself this week, Celena?
I am so excited.
Yeah. But that's why we do this. That's why we work on this. So challenge yourselves, sellers out there. It's, again, watch one video, take some notes on what jumps out to you about what you think is salesy. And make sure you join us in the future. So we've got some awesome things coming up. Once again, if you want to participate in a video breakdown, we do that here to help each other get better. You win some awesome prizes. So go ahead and feel free to DM us a video if you want to be featured on next week's show. And Sendspark is actually participating in an event coming up. So actually, in 2 weeks, we are participating at the Sales Development Excellence webinar. So that is going to be in about 2 weeks. Sendspark's founder, Bethany Stachenfeld, is going to be speaking there. It is going to be super awesome. And if you scan this QR code on the screen right now, you can RSVP for free. So it's an event sponsored by Sendspark and Reply.io. If you are looking to get responses, if you're looking to build an effective sales development team to close out 2023 and bring you sales success in 2024, go ahead, listen to Bethany in 2 weeks from now at the Sales Development Excellent webinar. I'm going to be listening. Are you, Celena?
You know it. I love Bethany. She's super, super smart, and she knows what she's talking about.
Yeah, Bethany is on it. She got us here, didn't she?
Sure did.
Yeah, so go forth, sell on video, have fun, be you. We're going to close it out today. Any plugs or anything you want to throw out there before we exit today's video, Celena?
Use Sendspark.
Yeah, go
I know
ahead.
there's a lot of other ones out there, but Sendspark is awesome.
Yeah, go ahead, use Sendspark. Once again, this has been Video Selling Live. Join us 2 weeks from now, and we're going to close out with a little clip. Again, I am a video coach, so if you want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me at my website, chrisbogue.io, and you can also purchase my course, The Complete Guide to Selling on Video. It's a comprehensive guide for a lean, mean sales process, heavily surrounded or heavily anchored around video. We go really deep into how to use Sendspark to drive business in all aspects of your pipeline. So say bye, everybody, and we'll go ahead and we will watch that clip.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Hello?
Is this Mr. Sherber?
It sure is. What can I help you with, brother?
Hello. You were not expecting this call. Do you have 17 seconds to
Hang
learn
on a
about
second.
mercifully short?
Is this a cold call?
I don't know.
You. Never call this number again.
Oh no! Another unsuccessful cold call. You probably don't have time to fuck off.
I got a quota to hit.
Are you spending hours every week cold calling and cold emailing but not seeing results?
There's gotta be a better way.
Introducing the complete guide to selling on video. Whether you're new to sales or a President's Club member, this fast and fun course will teach you to efficiently create short, customized videos that get results. The complete guide to selling on video is not sold in stores. Visit chrisbogue.io and use promo code GIMMEGIMME to